Alright, y'all, this is a 1982, I think it is, Ford L8000 dump truck that we're looking at. We brought some batteries out. It's got a bad fuel solenoid. We're gonna try to get it started today. It hadn't run in 2 or 3 years. They drug it to where it's sitting at. But it's a pretty clean little truck. I mean, you know, it's a straight little truck. It ain't clean. It's nasty as hell right now. Bumper's been up on it, but that's all right. We can build us another bumper for it. .3208 Caterpillar. Got new rubber on it. The little truck just ain't in bad shape. DOT, man. It's a 5 and 2. Uh-oh, we got a kilometer gauge cluster in it. Looking at the gauge cluster, I bet that's been replaced. Well, let's see if we can get her cranked. Alright, here's the little L8000 dump truck. We did get it cranked and get it home and gave it a bath, and it looks like a totally different truck now. I didn't get any video of getting it started because it really just wasn't that exciting. Believe it or not, we changed out that solenoid that was bad, and it cranked. But we had forgot to carry a piece of hose up there with us, and the rats had chewed this hose all to pieces. And so the day we got it cranked, we didn't get to take it home that day. So we came back the next day with a piece of hose to get it and carry it home, and it wouldn't start. And we finally figured out, after pumping the primer a whole bunch of times, that hose right there was sucking air at that fitting. Actually, not the fitting here, but right here where it swivels. So there's no way to seal that or anything, so we'll have to replace this whole hose. But we taped it up and got it to pump up and got it cranked and got it home. Now, one of the fuel filters is this old glass filter. You see these a lot on 70s vintage John Deere stuff, and I hate them. I've never been around one that didn't give some sort of trouble leaking. That clip right there is all that holds it on. Sometimes those things get wore out and you can bend them back a little bit, but for the most part, they're prone to leak and just don't give good service. So since we've got to replace that line, I'm just going to take all that off and put a regular spin-on filter right there. There is a water separator on the other side, so we'll still have 2 filters. It's just going to be a modern spin-on. Now, the big thing on this truck is that all the wiring is jacked up. You can look right here and see this is the sending unit for the temperature, and rats have just chewed the wiring all to pieces on it. I mean, everywhere. It's not, there we go. See here, all the way down, that's been chewed until it hits the covering on it there. The headlights don't work. The 2-speed rear end's not working. We actually had to just run a jumper wire from, we found a keyed hot up there on the firewall down to that solenoid because we weren't getting 12 volts here. And it's got a fusible link there, but we weren't getting 12 volts on the other side of that fusible link. So there's the other fuel filter with the primer pump, and this is a heck of a primer pump. It doesn't take long. You know, a lot of times primer pumps just aren't that great, but it does not take but a second to prime this thing with that. As I was saying, nothing electrical works on it. The headlights don't. Just some of the stuff that we've got to fix. I already showed you the fuel line over there. This bunch of goofy bullshit right here has got to be fixed. That it's got a sheet metal screw in it on this side, and it's held on with a zip tie on the other side, and that's going to take all of a second to get ripped off. We had to ride home with the headache rack ratchet strapped back because it's broke right here on both sides. You see that crappy ass welding that's been done. It's busted out. I actually think the reason for that is because this headache rack is really, really heavy, and it's made out of a whole lot thicker metal than what the bed's made out of, so it just gets to vibrating and bouncing going down the road, and it's just tearing it loose. So I'm probably just gonna cut all this out, and I may do a whole nother headache rack for it, I don't know, but that's got to be fixed. Just a little bit of rust right there. As far as I've seen, that's the only rust on the whole truck. Had to get 3 brand new batteries for it. There weren't any batteries in it at all, and those things were expensive. Had to do some new terminals on them and clean them up a little bit. The parking lights come on as soon as you hook up the battery. The parking lights come on, and they will not go off. It doesn't matter what switch you flip or anything else. They're on all the time. So I guess that's got the. I guess the issue with that is where the rats have chewed it too, and it's grounding out. Alright. Well, if I can get under here without getting tangled up. Alright, there's the 2-speed motor, which is supposed to be almost brand new, supposedly. But this is not plugging in right for some reason. It should go way down deep in there, and it's not. It doesn't even go in deep enough to catch the latch right there. Sorry, I wasn't filming you. It doesn't go in deep enough to catch the latch right here, and so it just vibrates loose. So we'll have to figure out what's going on with that. And it also doesn't work. It's supposed to be brand new, and it was supposed to be working, but it's not. And I'm guessing either it's not making good contact right here because that won't go in far enough, or there's a rat chewed through it somewhere back over the up between here and the cab too. Rubber's good, brakes are good. Hadn't seen any major leaks anywhere. It did have 2 glad hands on the back, but they were both broke off. It does have a good heavy panel hitch. Tail lights are about tore off. We'll have to fix them. Thinking about putting an airlock on the bed. I don't know. The cover needs some new springs on the arms here. They don't. Somebody just added those. I guess the old ones were broke or something. but they're gonna have to have some springs on them. Let's see if it's still got air on it. No, air's leaked down overnight. That's okay. When we first cranked it, we blew, that whole tank must have been absolutely full of water, because it was just a pouring out of it. We'll get a new air filter and change the oil and all that, and it ought to be a good truck. Shouldn't take too long to get it up and going, but I'll get some video of running down the wiring gremlins on it, if that's just so maybe that'll help somebody else with some wiring troubles, and then we'll get some road video of it. It's slow. I had to drive it home and it with it in low on the rear end, cause like I said, the rear end isn't shifting, so about 35 miles an hour was all it would do on the way home.